what we haven't heard yet is Sherrone Moore's side of this. And he gets his say into this particular situation as well. And I do know that he felt like people had it in for him for an awful long time. He felt like there were people who were out to get him. But the whole situation itself is just sad and tragic, because now we have a individual who had his professional life, his personal life completely upended.
Wait a minute. Let me make sure I'm understanding you correctly. You're making excuses for Sherrone Moore. You were damn near victimizing him by claiming that this poor man had his life, his career upended. It's so sad. Ah! Adam Schefter. Sherrone Moore didn't have his life, his career upended. He was the damn tornado. He was the hurricane. In August of 2005, I didn't feel sorry for Hurricane Katrina. I felt bad for the millions of people who had their lives forever altered by Katrina. Adam Schefter, he wants to feel bad for Sherrone Moore? Look, I'm all about hearing both sides to the story, especially in these cases where a high-profile man is being accused by a woman or a group of women. I hate to be that way. I hate to be skeptical, but we have seen so many instances where men have had their lives, their reputations ruined over what ends up being false allegations. If everything that's been reported in the last 36, 48 hours. If this had been reported about Nick Saban, if the same thing happened to Drew Brees or LeBron James, even though it looks bad in the moment, I would have questions, because these accusations, they would be out of character. Nick Saban has been in the national spotlight for decades. Drew Brees has been in the national spotlight for the better part of 25 years. LeBron James has been famous since he was a teenager. In all that time, there hasn't been a single whisper of impropriety. To my knowledge, between the three of those dudes combined, there hasn't even been an accusation. So if something like this happened to one of those three dudes, I would be skeptical of it, because their decades of high character has put them in a position to where they've earned it. But Sherrone Moore? Adam Schefter wants to go out of his way to make excuses for Sherrone Moore? In his defense, I somewhat understand what Adam Schefter is doing. He graduated from Michigan. He's trying to defend his alma mater. He's trying to do damage control for the program. I don't agree with it, but I can at least somewhat understand it. What I don't understand, what I will never understand, is why ESPN is once again taking a story that has absolutely nothing to do with race and trying to insinuate, trying to inject a racial component into the story. And imagine my surprise. Just imagine my surprise when I found out that ESPN utilized the services of their racial masturbator, Crying Ryan Clark. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Speaking of Ryan Clark, he is one of the nominees for the 3rd annual Huge Embarrassing Failure Awards. If you want to cast your vote for 2025's most embarrassing failure, the link to the poll is in the description below. Link to the second channel also in the description below. Today on the second channel, going to be talking about the ongoing demise of the WNBA. Also, this will be the only video today here on the main channel. Got to take my oldest Yorkie, Chewy, to the vet this afternoon to get some x-rays and tests done on her throat. She's at that age for dogs where we are having constant issues with her health. Hopefully, all goes well. There are a lot of victims in this Sherrone Moore scandal. Contrary to the insinuation from Adam Schefter, Sherrone Moore ain't one of the victims. Now, obviously, the biggest victims, his wife and his children. If you want to feel sorry for anyone, that's who you should be feeling sorry for. I don't know anything about his wife, but I do know she didn't deserve this, and I know for damn sure his 3 children didn't deserve it. His players, the university, the fan base, they have all been directly or indirectly affected by the actions of Sherrone Moore. This dude has wrecked a lot of lives, all because he wanted to wet his wanker, all because he wanted to be selfish, all because Sherrone Moore wasn't thinking about anyone but Sherrone Moore. According to Ryan Clark, the esteemed associate pastor of Woke United Methodist, according to the man of many emotions, there's another group that's been negatively impacted by Sherrone Moore. There's another group who deserves our deepest sympathies. Yesterday morning, Ryan Clark was on First Take again. I just don't understand why they continue to feature Captain Doofus on this show. Hell, I don't understand why Ryan Clark still has a job at the Worldwide Leader in Woke. This dude should have been fired after he falsely accused the Louisiana police of causing the death of Kyron Lacey. He should have been fired when he refused to work with the lovely Sage Steele. He should have been fired when he questioned the blackness of RG3. According to Crying Ryan, Bob Griffin the Trace can't understand the black experience in America because he's married to a white woman. Now, ironically enough, Ryan Clark had a child with a white woman. But as you guys know, emotional men, they never let those pesky facts get in the way of pushing their agenda. ESPN has had plenty of opportunities to distance themselves from Ryan Clark, but for some reason, they continue to feature him prominently on television. And because of that ongoing lapse in judgment, Ryan Clark continues to embarrass the network by going out of his way to make everything, and I mean everything, about race. Watch for yourself.
He also failed a community of coaches who would love to follow him to get an opportunity to coach at a historically great university like a Michigan. That was the opportunity that he had that he failed at. Now, if you're Sherrone Moore, who was the first African-American head coach at the University of Michigan, there's also a community of coaches that would love to follow in your footsteps that will be partly judged because of your actions. He does have to own that. In Romans 3:23, right, it says, all have fallen short because of sin and fallen short of the glory of God. So Sherrone Moore will be and will have an opportunity to be given grace by his family, by Christ, but he won't get a Bobby Petrino rebound.
Okay, so according to Ryan Clark, because Sherrone Moore cheated on his wife, because Sherrone Moore allegedly went to his lover's house with a knife, because Sherrone Moore was subsequently arrested and likely ruined his career, all black coaches will be forced to deal with the aftermath. All black coaches will be judged based on the actions of Sherrone Moore. Does that make any sense to you? Of course it doesn't, because it's complete bullshit. Why does the mainstream media only do this with black people? If Yao Ming had ruined his NBA career by fixing games, if Yao Ming was a degenerate gambler, if Yao Ming was cheating on his wife, no one would say all Chinese people will be judged based on the actions of Yao Ming. When Bobby Petrino, hey, it's me, Bobby P. When Bob damn near ruined his career by wrecking his motorcycle while riding with a female student athlete from Arkansas. As it turns out, the motorcycle wasn't the only thing she was riding, but either way, When that scandal was revealed with Bobby Petrino 10, 15 years ago, did anyone say every white coach in the SEC will now be questioned? Every white coach in the country's had their reputation ruined. Speaking of Bob Petrino, Ryan Clark also insinuated that Sherrone Moore won't receive the same privilege, the same benefits as Bob. You know, because Sherrone Moore is black and Bobby P is white. According to Crying Ryan, the insinuation here is that black men are not given the same privileges as the white man. Black men are not allowed to come back from their mistakes. Black men are not allowed to be given redemption. Does anyone remember Michael Vick? During the 2000s, Michael Vick was arguably the biggest football star in the country. This dude revolutionized the quarterback position in the NFL. At the pinnacle of his career, Michael Vick was arrested for running a gruesome dogfighting ring. It was absolutely horrific what they were doing to these pooches. The backlash we are seeing right now with Sherrone Moore, it was nothing compared to what Michael Vick went through, and rightfully so. Michael Vick deserved all the backlash, all the criticism that he received. I'm sure Michael Vick would tell you himself that he deserved it. He spent 2 years in federal prison. When he got out, there were a lot of people who thought Michael Vick didn't deserve another opportunity in the NFL. But there was one guy who did, Andy Reid. Andy Reid gave Michael Vick an opportunity in Philadelphia when no one else would touch him. But that's not what changed perception. The reason Michael Vick is so highly respected today is because Michael Vick owned his mistakes. He didn't run away from it. He didn't make excuses. No one questioned every black player in the NFL and thought they were involved with dogfighting. Michael Vick admitted he was wrong. He got involved with animal rescue charities, and Michael Vick was forgiven. Same thing with Kobe Bryant. In the early 2000s, Kobe Bryant was public enemy number 1 in the NBA. Today, and throughout most of the final decade of his NBA career, Kobe Bryant was respected. He was given grace. So don't give me this shit about black men not being allowed to come back from their mistakes. The thing about Ryan Clark, I actually agreed with a lot of what he said. Romans 3:23, all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Ryan Clark talked about Sherrone Moore was supposed to be a leader of young men, how it would be hard now for parents to trust Sherrone Moore with their young men. That's the reason it's going to be difficult for Sherrone Moore to come back from this. It's not impossible, but it's going to be difficult. What makes this situation different than Bobby Petrino, it's not the color of their skin. It's Sherrone Moore's tendency to get violent. That is going to be hard to come back from if the allegation ends up being true. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.